This episode of Biters is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Hey everybody, this is Diane. Welcome to Biters.
And this is Marnell. It's time to stir the beef.
Let's go stir the beef. I don't know what it is about that expression. I haven't looked it up. I don't know where the character gets it. It's really funny.
Okay, there's, for some reason, like, it sounds dirty. But so does yeast cakes.
Yeast cakes just sounds like it needs a good course of diflucan.
Well, whenever he says yeast cake, I imagine like a dinner plate sized urinal cake. That I see urinal cakes a lot.
I just see a dinner sized thing of yeast, so that's funny.
Well, and I don't know that much about beer making. I know that it involves yeast, so is that like the motherwort for your can you peel some off like you're making kombucha or?
I am totally not a brewer. I have no idea.
Well, because I know that you can leave your batch open to like natural yeast that just drift in and get because I think you can do that in like pickle making too, where that's, yeah.
You're speaking Greek to me.
I don't think it's a make or break thing. I think he could eventually get more yeast. I'm sure it's not as convenient as having a giant urinal cake, but
you would think the Real Housewives of Alaska would know how to make beer.
Well, and I was just reading an article the other day that said women were actually the original beer makers.
Well, that makes sense, because we were the original, like, agricultural component of the relationship, so...
Right, and I kind of think it was sort of we did it medicinally, or to, like, make sure that the water was okay, because you couldn't just drink water. Hence, that's why we started drinking tea, is because you boil the water first and make it more palatable with herbs. But, I'm sure it wasn't like we're going to do this, because it makes us feel funny and awesome. But I'm sure it had some other purpose that was very motherly.
So I was totally thinking, I've heard this theory somewhere before, and then I realized it was you and Phil.
Oh, see, I shouldn't drink before a podcast.
All right.
I'm drunk that just keeps repeating the same stories.
So how did you rate this episode, which is called MM54, which we'll get into?
This was really, really a middle book, and you and I talked before the podcast. For me, it lost something on the rewatch, and for you, it gained something on the rewatch. So I probably would have rated it more highly had I not rewatched it, but I said 3.5 poorly constructed barricades.
Okay, we were pretty close. I said 3.87 hemostats to the head.
And what's a hemostat?
Hemostats are the little clampy thingies. In medical jargon, they're hemostats.
Okay.
In Alaska pot smoker jargon, they're essentially a fancy roach clip.
I was thinking it had something to do with the peeling off of the scalp.
Nope, it was actually the thing that he stabbed him in the head with. The thing
we stabbed him with. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Oh my god, I just realized I don't have any numbers. I totally fell down on the job.
Well, I think we talked about last week that the
numbers were good.
Viewership. So I actually I have some numbers not on the show, but on their social media. And we will get to that when we talk about our featured cast member.
Okay, I will take it. I will take your version of the numbers and I will run with it.
Like I said, not on the show, but a very important number when it comes to social media, or very, very important numbers when it comes to social media. So
cool.
We'll get into that.
So the title, MM54, mile marker 54.
Of course.
And I texted you and I was like, okay, I have to go back and rewatch and figure out what happened at mile 54 because I didn't write it down the first time. Well, of course, it's where Martha... No, it's where Martha had her breakdown.
Right.
It's where she lost her husband, where he died, and where she had her emotional breakdown.
Right, where it all started for Filthy Woman and all ended for Martha.
Right, yeah, really. That's a good way to put it.
Which, we have a name now. I'm so glad we don't have to call her Filthy Woman. Or as Kirk Manley called her on Twitter, Michonne's crazy aunt, I think, or crazy mother.
I thought you called her Michonne's crazy mom.
Okay, I think I called her Michonne's crazy mom, and independently, Kirk Manley said Michonne's crazy aunt.
Oh, that's really funny.
I was like, I'm so glad I wasn't the only one with that thought. We were all thinking that in some fashion or another.
Oh my God, between the dreads and then dragging the walkers around by their necks? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and going a little bit loony after losing her husband.
Yeah,
I mean, it all matches up. I mean, not that we knew that about Martha beforehand, but yeah, it all matches up to be like Michonne, alternate universe Michonne.
I think I like the real universe Michonne better.
Me too.
Although, this is an interesting character and an interesting twist.
You know, it really is. And I think we've speculated before about what made her the way she is. And the speculation was that somebody didn't help her or somebody screwed up helping her and her family or loved ones died because of it. And I mean, they talked about it on The Talking Dead. Let's be honest. He was dead before anybody would have been able to help him anyway. But it was just the fact that people just kept swerving around.
Oh, I know. That was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Sinbad on Talking Dead pointed out that if anyone had just stopped and like held her hand and been like, you know, I'll read you a bedtime story or, you know, I think she wouldn't have turned out this way. I think things would have been different for her, but nobody stopped. But in all fairness, this seemed to be like the very, very beginning when people were just trying to escape the cities and everything. Honestly, would you stop for somebody trying to flag you down if you were fleeing the zombie apocalypse? Maybe not.
I can't give an honest answer to that because I don't know. I mean, it would depend on the circumstance. If it was someone who looked like desperate and as well put together as she looked, maybe. If it was her, like, after she dug her husband's grave with her hands and she was caked in mud, probably not.
I was going to say, I would actually probably be more apt to stop in the beginning before people were more dangerous than the zombies.
Right.
But you never know. I mean, you just fled a city where like the dead are reanimating and now this crazy person is jumping around waving their arms in front of the car, you know, like I would slow down, but I would keep my windows up. I don't know, but I mean, I live in a very homogenized place. Juneau, Alaska is only accessible by boat or plane, so we don't get a huge transit population. We don't have a lot of like major crime unless you are the unfortunate victim of like being wrongly thought of as like having like lots of drugs in your house or something. I have actually stopped to pick up hitchhikers here in Juneau. They're almost always women, and it's usually kind of on our main road where it's very obvious that like there's some distress. It's not like they're trying to get to the store. It's like their car broke down, or like in the one case, like I think her boyfriend had kicked her out. Like, and it's our major quote unquote highway. We can't go over 55. It's like 4 lanes. It's not a big deal. But you know, it was somebody obviously in distress, and I looked at her and I was like, I could take her.
You know, you're helping me answer the question because I have to honestly admit that I don't pick up hitchhikers. Even if it's like a young woman or if it's a young couple, I'm like, no, anyone can pull a gun on anybody. Anybody could hurt somebody else. And I just got ruined by the little bit of time that I worked for the prison system.
Yeah. And
now the other half picks up hitchhikers still occasionally, and he doesn't do it when I'm in the car, and I just get freaked out when he tells me that he's done it, because I just don't trust other human beings as much as I wish I did.
See, and I haven't actually done it since we had an incident last year where somebody was jumping out in front of cars at one of the stoplights that's near my house and like trying to get in the car, and it was always young women, and he actually quote unquote kidnapped a woman and made her drive him around, and she wound up escaping the car. Like, I don't know what she did, but she just like threw it in park and ran in a well-lit area or something. And stuff like that really just doesn't happen a whole lot here. And like I said, it's mostly women that I've picked up. And the last person that I did pick up, the last woman, she actually, like I said, her boyfriend had like thrown her out of the car in a fight on our main road.
Nice.
And she was under the influence of something, and she was definitely under the influence of something. And when I took her home, she actually lived like 2 blocks from me. I took her home, and she offered me some marijuana or to drink. So she was very lovely, but
with hemostat or without hemostat.
But looking back on it, like I kind of like, not somebody you want to pick up, but on the other hand, she needed somebody like me to pick her up.
Right, not someone that needed to be vulnerable.
Right. She did not need to be in a situation where she could have been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, would you have picked up Martha? I don't know.
It depends on which Martha had been standing there. And at this point, I'm not very good about picking up the whole hitchhikers in general. So, yeah, probably not.
You're in a panic. You're trying to get out of the city. The dead are reanimated. But on the other hand, you can obviously see that her car is crashed and there's all this guardrail
which is true.
Right. Like, so, I mean, there's about a 50-50. So I really can't blame a lot of the people that swerved around her. I mean, maybe they had their children in the car and they were like, I just can't risk it. But like, yeah, I get both sides of it. Like, I get why she kind of went crazy, and I get why nobody helped her. So, yeah.
Mile marker 54.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have seen those accidents with the guardrail before. There was actually one on I-90 that...
Oh, I bet it was horrible.
It missed the kid. It was a college student from Central Washington University, and I can't remember. I think he'd like dozed off at the wheel or something. And this is like kind of back before cell phones. I think there were cell phones, but like they didn't have super cool games like The Walking Dead: Our World on them. Don't text and drive. Don't play games and drive. But I've seen one of those up close where the guardrail it goes straight through, and it's like a ribbon through your car. And there was actually, ironically, just right before this episode came out, there was a article about how I think federal DOT has lowered its standard on guardrail. And so that kind of accident has actually been happening more frequently.
Really?
Yeah. Scary.
Huh. I just did some opiate abuse education, and do you realize that more Americans have died recently in opiate overdoses than in car accidents?
Not shocking. I also work for public health, so...
That was actually shocking to me, because I still think of car accidents as being like a top killer.
Every time you turn around, it's like somebody touched one dust particle of fentanyl and died. Yeah, it's...
Or car fentanyl, elephant fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just, they shorten it and just say fentanyl.
We're off on a happy little tangent, aren't we?
Hitchhikers, fentanyl, guardrail.
Hemostats.
More entertaining than the show, in my opinion.
Oh, it was pretty middle booky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so our writers, we had two. We had Anna Fishko and Shintaro Shimosawa, who I've butchered his name before, so hopefully I didn't butcher it this time. They co-wrote. They both were supervising producers on 13 episodes this season. And they both were writers on three total episodes this season, but this is the first episode that they co-wrote together. So Anna Fishko is known for Colony, The Last Tycoon, Tyrant, The Messengers, The Bridge. And I was writing all those down last night and I was thinking, I'm probably rattling through someone's favorite show.
I really liked Colony. I haven't watched the latest season, and I watched the first season of, I think I watched the first season of The Bridge, and was very meh on. I hear Tyrant is amazing, but I've never gotten into it before.
So who did we have who was involved with Colony in our last episode? Do you remember?
I don't.
Which, by the way, I owe a big apology. We owe a big apology to our fans. So, as of this recording, last week's Biters is not yet posted. And I think what happens sometimes is our recording schedule and Rob's posting schedule don't always match up wonderfully well. So, I really apologize that we're so late.
Yeah. We're podcasting on a Tuesday, which is actually kind of early for us because we don't just watch the show and podcast. We watch the show, rewatch the show, watch Talking Dead, do our research. So it's usually Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes even Thursday before we podcast.
Sometimes I watch the show and just podcast. I'll admit.
I can't do that.
I try not to, but sometimes life interferes. Anyway.
So, even when Phil and I podcast, it was because I had that Monday off. We podcasted on a Monday, and it's because I had that Monday off. So I stayed up, watched Talking Dead, and then watched Fear the Walking Dead the next day so that we could podcast that. So, we have Monday through Friday jobs, so we unfortunately have to podcast
when we can.
When we can, yeah.
So, Shintaro Shimosawa is also known for Criminal Minds, Suspect Behavior, which is like a spin-off of Criminal Minds, Smallville, The Dead Zone, The 4400, and Crossing Jordan. So, they both have some pretty good shows to their credit.
Yeah. But who is our director this episode?
Oh, it was so cool. So, of course, I didn't know that he was guest directing, and I was watching the credits, just zipping along, and I was like, oh my God, Lou Diamond Phillips!
So I think they announced it on Talking Dead last week.
Okay, I missed it because I didn't watch all of Talking Dead last week.
Okay, at the end when they tell you who's going to be on next week, and they were Lou Diamond Phillips, who directed the next episode. Yeah. So I was super excited because he was one of my very first crushes when I was.
Of course, we all know him from La Bamba.
Yep. And, okay, the first thing I was aware of him in, I do remember eventually rewatching La Bamba and noticing that was Lou Diamond Phillips, but it was, oh, God, now I'm not even going to be able to find it. Young Guns.
Oh, that was a fun movie.
Yes, and specifically Young Guns 2, because I think I actually saw Young Guns 2 before I saw Young Guns 1.
Oh,
so
my
now,
God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, Young Guns 2 is burned into my memory, and I absolutely love the entire cast, but him as Chavez was just... Yeah, it was Lou Diamond Phillips and Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart when I was younger. Those were my two preteen crushes. I'm so weird. I know. I know. It wasn't like Jonathan Taylor Thomas or anybody like that. It was Patrick Stewart and Lou Diamond Phillips.
That's hilarious.
I have seen so many amazing B horror cop movies with Lou Diamond Phillips in them. Oh,
So
yeah.
did you watch Dangerous Touch? That was one of his directing credits. It was his first directing credit, actually.
I probably have, but they're all sort of mishmash in together in like this amazing 80s B thriller.
So Dangerous Touch was his first directing credit, and it was in 1994. He wrote, directed, and acted in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like he disappeared for a really long time.
He did, and he doesn't have tons of director credits, so he's got 9 total director credits. This one for Fear, episodes of The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, and then a show about a sheriff, I want to say in Wyoming, called Longmire.
Yes. So I did watch like the first half season of Longmire. My other half absolutely loves Longmire. I think it changed to Netflix. It went from like USA Network to Netflix or something for its final season or two. It was one of those that like got canceled, and then like Netflix was like, "We'll take it."
Cool.
Yeah, and I think they finished out the series. I think it's done, but yes, I know Longmire pretty good. Pretty good. It's just not at the top of the list, and don't think that it'll ever get there with as long as the list is.
He's got 1 episode of that to his credit, but so he's got a few directing credits. So one of the things that I thought was cool was that he was born on a naval base in the Philippines.
Yes, that's
I always
so
thought
amazing.
that I'm terrible. I'm totally stereotyping, but I always thought that he was Mexican.
See, and I thought he was like American Indian. And when I say that, I mean like the United States, because my friend who is Mexican, she just realized that she's Native American because Mexico is part of North America.
Sure.
And quote unquote Mexicans are the natives. So she's like in her 40s, and it totally blew her mind that she was Native American.
Oh, that's really funny.
So yeah, I always thought like, and I think it's because he's always been typecasted that he was like Navajo or Cherokee or Sioux or, like I always thought he was like some amazing mishmash of, cheekbones and gray hair.
And we were both wrong.
Yeah.
So speaking of cheekbones and great hair, who's our featured cast member?
Tanya Pinkins.
AKA Martha, AKA Filthy Woman. Yes. So did you realize that was actually those were actually her dreads?
Oh my goodness. I thought that they were her dreads. I did not think, I don't know when the wig came into play, but wigs have come so far. I mean, just watch Game of Thrones for 5 minutes. Everybody is wearing a wig, and you cannot tell.
Even the men.
Of course, Michonne's is a wig, but Michonne's always has that she's wearing like a bandana or something, so you cannot see the hairline or anything like that. And Tanya Pinkins, I don't know when the wig came into play, and also, holy cow, like Sinbad said, like cutting your dreads is a major thing.
Right.
It's like it's practically religion for them, and she said that she burned them in some sort of like ceremonious like cleansing of that, like wow.
And so for the people who don't watch Talking, she said on Talking Dead that she cut off her dreads because she got sick of like trying to wash them out every night after shooting.
Well, considering what they're putting on her face, I'm sure that's what went into her hair. And
right.
I can't imagine like having to wash dreads. I actually have friends who have dreads, and like you don't just wash dreads like you wash hair. Like it's a process. And so yeah, I can't imagine having to care for them every day after filming. And plus it's like Michonne, like I can't imagine filming in that heat and the dirt and the sweat and the sunblock and the gore and, I'm sure it's nice to just be able to take that off at the end of the day. And if it were a truly attached to your head, you couldn't do that.
Man, that's tons of dedication, though. Cutting years and years and years of dreads for a role. That's tons of dedication.
Looks amazing without them, though. Like, I love her with them, but she's one of those that can pull off the no hair look.
Like I said, gray hair and strong cheekbones. She has both, so she can do with either.
Yeah, and she's super fun. I really enjoyed her on the podcast. Yeah, she was lively and just very smart, and yeah, I loved the panel this week. Lou Diamond Phillips, Tanya Pinkins, and Sinbad.
Yeah, it was a good panel. I agree. I didn't make it all the way through talking, but I made it mostly through talking, and they were great. I enjoyed them very much.
Yeah.
So, do you have her IMDb open?
I do.
Do you want to take a stab at her nickname?
No, because I don't see it.
Onyxia pimentoloma. It is like one long word that is like, triskaidekaphobia or whatever the phobia of the letter number 13 is. It's a huge word.
Oh, that's funny. I don't see that. Oh, is that in her trivia?
It's in her biography.
Oh my goodness.
Try it. Tell me what you think.
Onyxia pimentolama.
Okay. I'm impressed.
Onyxia pimentolama. I feel like if I say it like 3 times,
she'll appear like Beetlejuice.
Right. Yeah. And chop all my hair off. I am getting.
You'd better say it the 3rd time then, because I don't have much hair left to cut. So.
No, and that's another thing is like cutting your hair as a woman. Like most of us, it's part of our femininity. It's sometimes like my hair is long. I use it kind of as a safety blanket. So, like I couldn't imagine even cutting it above my collarbone at this point. But to shave it off, I don't have the features for it. For one, I don't like one of my coworkers just got a pixie cut and it looks adorable on her. But I was like, no, that would not look good on me.
Besides, you wouldn't be able to pull off your Sarah Palin impression.
Right? I would have to turn to a wig.
So, what do we know about Onyxia pimentoloma? Yeah, I blew it. What do we know about Tanya Pinkins?
She's won a ton of awards for her stage work, including a Tony.
She won a Tony for... Where did I see it? For playing on Broadway in Jelly's Last Jam.
Yes, and she's won a ton of awards for that, and another one, Caroline or Change, I believe.
I've never heard of that play.
Neither have I, but it seems like she did a lot of her stage acting.
Boy, and it looks like she's gotten a lot of awards for that particular portrayal.
Yes. It kind of looks like she did a lot of her stage acting kind of before I was born, because she was on All My Children in 1970.
Oh my God, isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
She was also on As the World Turns,
which she was nominated for a soap opera guild award, something like that. I look it up on my phone and then I try and look it up on my laptop, and it doesn't look the same. I can't find the same stuff, I swear. I don't know who's lying to me.
Well, so it sounds like she really loves the stage, but she has not lacked work on the small screen either.
No, not at all. She hasn't been in a ton of stuff that I can pick her out of, but of course, she has been in an episode of Law and Order.
And Criminal Minds.
Like
I said last week, do they just go, oh no, not Law and... Oh, Yes, Law and Order.
Okay, and I could not find a Law and Order credit for Lou Diamond Phillips, but I swear he's been on one. He played a bad guy. I swear.
Oh, that is too funny.
Of course, they all play bad guys. They all play bad guys or like grieving, like mothers, fathers, boyfriends,
Or judges.
Or judges. Yes, definitely, or judges.
So she was in Nurse Jackie, which I really loved, although I have not finished the series, so I may have not seen her in it. I'm not sure which character she played. She was also in Gotham 11/22/63, which is based on the Stephen King novel.
Yes, I have not seen that. I do need to watch that, and I need to finish Castle Rock.
I know you said that you were really enjoying Castle Rock.
I was, but then Celebrity Big Brother UK.
Oh my God.
And that's like every night. That's 7 nights a week. And 5 of those nights have an additional hour of an after show. So that's just, I have a ton of TV to catch up on. Now
I love you so much, but reality television, oh my God.
It's the UK, though. It's not the US. They can say the C word and show full frontal nudity. It's totally different.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It's not the same. Like, yeah, I can't watch US reality television. It's UK or nothing.
You know, not to like out ourselves or anything, but our mother watches tons of reality TV.
Okay, I swear to God, there's a channel in Washington that plays nothing but Naked and Afraid at 24/7, and every time I go to Mom's house,
it's on.
It's on.
I know, and it's crazy.
I have seen so many Naked and Afraid episodes at her house, and what's funny is, like, I hated the show in the beginning, and now I kind of like it.
Oh, my God. Well, here it shows on TLC Terrible Life Choices, so there you go.
Oh, there you go. No, I love just, because it is super interesting. Like, you know, I go hiking here with friends and stuff, and like I have a friend who she knows like a ton of the edible and usable plants and herbs that grow in the area. And I remember one Naked and Afraid episode where this person was like just completely bug bitten. Like they were getting like open sores. There were so many bugs that were eating them alive, literally. And one of my friends pointed out a plant that you, just like Daryl saw that one guy in the episode with the horses on Walking Dead, you take it and you rub it on your skin and it's a natural bug repellent. And so like, I'm super interested in like combating nature. And when you drop someone in the woods naked with like a mic and a machete or, you know,
you're not selling me on this.
The things we do for money and fame.
I think I like what Tanya Pinkins does better for money and for fame.
And she does it so well.
She does.
Yeah. She's got a lot of stuff that's completed or post-production.
Yeah, like 5 things in completion and post-production.
Yeah. Let's see. Fearless Love, which is a short. The Elephant in a Room, it's a TV movie. Paris Blues in Harlem, another short. Mr. Talent, a short. And then The Artist's Wife, it doesn't say what it is because it's in post-production. But yeah, so she's got a lot coming out.
Well, she is thrice divorced, so she has plenty of spare time.
Well, she has 4 kids, so...
So maybe not so much spare time.
I think that they're all grown.
They're probably all grown. If she was playing in All My Children in the 1970s, they're probably all grown.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's got a lot of free time on her hands now.
Good for her. Well, we're glad she's part of the cast of Fear the Walking Dead.
Yes. Do we have a speculation on whether she will last out the next 2 episodes?
I think she's going to. I don't think they're going to wrap up her storyline.
You don't think so?
But I could be completely wrong.
She does have a giant wound that has to be taken care of.
Oh, I don't think it's a giant wound. It's just a little bit of stippling from a shotgun.
So did you see the part where she said on Talking Dead where she loves to collect the wounds and stuff from the show?
Right. She was talking about like popping the shotgun pellets out.
Yeah, she's got all this stippling from her wound and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was gross.
So I had told you earlier that I had some numbers for you for social media.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So comicbook.com has a article out that says Fear the Walking Dead Instagram takeover infuriates fans. So I don't know if you follow any. I think you follow a lot of like Betty Buckley and those kind of people. I follow
individual people. I no longer follow the corporate ones after AMC ruined Beth's death, after they spoiled Beth's death.
So apparently Fear the Walking Dead was ruined on Instagram and Twitter because Fear the Walking Dead Instagram Takeover Sunday, which I'm sure their Instagram links with their Twitter, Tanya Pinkins took over the the Instagram feed, and people were so inundated. She did like over 80 posts that day, and people were furious because some of it wasn't related to the Fear the Walking Dead. It was related to her other works, and so they didn't feel that the content was appropriate for, what was supposed to be doing, what everyone's done. I love it when Preachers, their cast takes over their Instagram, and they post little snippets about, behind the scenes, or things like that, or like, how would you respond to this, or it's super fun when they do it. But apparently people were not having fun on Sunday because they went from 893,000 Instagram followers to 887. So that's a loss of just between 5,000 and 6,000, and it was still dropping. And people were infuriated because she posted a behind-the-scenes picture of her with the dummy, a dummy that had the bullet wounds that her character had.
So it spoiled the bullet wound before people knew.
Right. And so I guess they lost a lot of Twitter and Instagram followers on Sunday because of the Tanya Pinkins Fear the Walking Dead Takeover Sunday.
Well, you know, if you don't want to be spoiled, don't follow the corporate Instagram or Twitter or Facebook.
I just didn't think there could be too much of a good thing, but 80 posts, that would be a little excessive.
Did I tell you that I was following Snoop Dogg on Instagram and I had to quit because that was pretty much the rate at which he was posting every day?
Yes.
Like, I could not see anything else. All I saw was Snoop Dogg.
Weed.
Yeah. Weed, treadmill, weed, treadmill.
Treadmill?
He's a big runner.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, who knew, right?
Who said pop makes you lazy? Certainly not Michael Phelps.
Right. Well, in his case, in Snoop's case, I would say it makes him insensate. He can run and run and run and run and run and just doesn't care.
That is so crazy. Because the other thing of it would be you would think he would have a low lung capacity.
Apparently not.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't smoke anything. It's the asthma for one. Like, and then I can't run. No.
I was running this time last year. In fact, I'm looking at my medal from the Zombie Run 2017 on Halloween, and my knee is so jacked up I'm not running right now.
Aw, so
I know.
You're the one I tripped to get away.
Pretty much. I'm Otis.
You're Otis.
I'm your Otis.
Oh.
So we are at nearly 40 minutes and we haven't even made it to Whisperer's Corner yet.
Okay, see, and we were talking about how this was such a meh episode that we were going to have nothing to talk about. So this episode is going to be like an hour and a half long.
Right. And we're on track to do exactly that.
The good episodes just speak for themselves. The meh episodes, we have to do all the talking.
So Whisperer's Corner. I just wanted to mention the article that Phil sent to us about the Walking Dead universe. So the CEO of AMC, whose name is Josh Sapin, says that they have 10 plus years planned for Walking Dead properties.
Oh my goodness.
Like a decade of Walking Dead properties still to come.
Judith is the only one alive in the end.
I swear to God, that's got to be what they've got planned. Judith and Grace, right? The little baby that got found.
They're going to be like 32 with the way they're aging.
Totally.
In 10 years.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, Enid is the grand old lady. And this girl named Charlie who showed up from Texas.
Oh, that's amazing.
The only other thing... Oh, go ahead.
I didn't read the article. I have a hard time, like, whenever one of our friends or fans sends us something, like, they send it to me. You send it to us usually like on Sunday or Monday, and I haven't watched the episode yet, so I don't want to read anything, and then I wind up forgetting to read it. So did it say that was like our two show material, or was that just... It
just kind of generally said Walking Dead universe.
Okay.
So they could well be planning another spinoff. That was kind of the impression that I got from the article.
They've gone south of the border. They need to go north of the border. We need to see cold weather zombies.
Or they need to go to Europe.
Ooh, I could see that. Like a 28 days later. Yeah.
So there are definitely options. I mean, they still need to answer the question of what was happening in France that they talked about in the episode Wildfire. Season 1, Dr. Jenner.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Was that in the article, or did you just pull that out?
I totally pulled that out. That's how obsessed I am.
Nice. Very cool. Wasn't there talk of Rick having like a half brother in Europe or something?
I don't remember that, but there could have been talk of it.
I seem to remember something that was like in the comic book, like he had some communication right before the apocalypse with like a brother or half brother or something that was supposed to be flying back to the U.S.
Wow, I don't remember that at all. Are you sure you're not making that up?
No. I'm not entirely sure that is not some fevered dream of mine.
Okay, that's funny.
Hey, when I'm BSing you, I will totally own up to it if you call me out on it. You can say anything as long as you say it with confidence.
Exactly, and you can generally make people believe it.
So awesome.
Well, so let's head to our goods, bads, and our uglies. So talk to me about your good.
Okay, so
Did you have one?
I did.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I have one, but I don't think it actually occurs in this episode.
Oh my God. Does it count if it doesn't occur in the episode?
It's the very end with Charlie and Alicia when they find John Dory's hat, and Alicia's like, oh my God. And she's staring across...
No, so Charlie's like, Alicia, look, and she's got this big grin, and then Alicia says something that we can't say on our podcast.
Right. Holy S. And it's got to be John Dory and Strand, right?
So you stole my ugly.
Oh!
I was so happy because I'm totally convinced that they saw John Dory and Victor Strand.
Okay, have you seen the next week on?
Well, I saw like a little snippet, and I saw Charlie wearing Dory's hat.
Right. Well, they found the hat.
Right.
But they are headed for a vehicle that's got a canoe on top of it.
Right. So they must be getting a rescue ready for the boys.
Right. I'm so happy that, Alicia was all like, screw it. We're, forget everyone. We're going to go to the beach. This is our plan. Everyone else is dead. We're just going to move on, and Charlie was like, I guess I'm going to follow you because I have no better options. And they run smack into other members of their group.
So didn't you recognize that little bank that she walked down? Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that's the bank that Strand and Dory were nearly at when they were trying to cross the water.
I recognized it, but I also am like, how many miles, of riverside banks look like it the same? And it could have just been this is the filming location we got permitted for.
No, I totally knew.
Yeah. But One thing did kind of annoy me is that they just happened to be like walking by when John Dory's hat was like within reach. Like they didn't even have to get their toes wet to go get it. So I don't know how close of a time this was to John and Strand
Trying
nearly
to cross.
sinking.
Yeah.
Right. So, that was my good, is I'm super happy because that was, one of the things we left off with was, okay, Charlie and Alicia are going to join the main group, and all we have to do is find John Dory and Strand. Well, Charlie and Alicia kind of split off, and now they found the guys. So
that feeling that you talked about of being like uber proud of your sports team and like, really happy that they were about to win, that was the feeling that I got.
Swelling of emotion in your chest. Yes.
That was totally the feeling that I got, and that was why it was my ugly.
So excited. I love it. What was your good?
Well, my good was actually getting Martha's backstory. And like part of me was like, okay, it's a little predictable. It was a little trite. And then a bigger part of me was like, no, this was really, really amazing. Like the filming of her psychotic break and the filming of her digging her husband's grave with her fingers.
Yeah.
That was really good. That was really satisfying.
Yeah. Exactly. Her backstory was pretty much predictable, but I do love the way that they did it in the breakdown and the digging of the grave. And then I absolutely loved it. Such an English teacher move to do.
Oh, right. The farther thing. And, I have to be honest, I was like, I was completely schooled.
Yeah, me too. Me too. She's obviously a very good English teacher.
Yes.
And she's got amazing handwriting.
And Tanya Pinkins was saying that's her writing, and she actually tried to give it an extra flourish. Like she really wanted to make it special to be Martha's handwriting.
Yeah. Yes. I loved it too. And, like I said, I don't know if I would have stopped for her or not, and how many of us could say that when we're, fleeing the zombie apocalypse. And on the other hand, I could see having a mental breakdown watching my husband die while there's nothing I could do about it, have people pass me by, and then have to kill him as a zombie. Like that's right. And then dig his grave by hand. Like, I don't know how she got him out of that car with the guardrail and paint. Like that,
it makes me wonder if she kind of had to pull him to pieces to get him out.
Right. And then,
which certainly would have contributed to her psychotic break.
Yep. I mean, there are no winners in this scenario. Yeah. Tragic, but understandable.
And satisfying.
Right.
Even though it was, yes, a bit predictable.
Right.
But so, what was your bad?
My bad is everyone is like on Morgan about what are we going to do next? And look, this thing didn't work out, so we're going to blame you because we had no better ideas and we were looking to you and you made the bad decision. And I'm over that. And I'm also over him like taking it.
So they're kind of leading up to him losing it again, because the next two episode totals are I lose people and then I lose myself, or I lose someone and then I lose myself. Yeah.
And I would lose it. Like, good on him for losing it if he truly does, because this episode when Jimbo was dragging what's his name?
Wendell.
When Jimbo was dragging Wendell and complaining and blah blah blah, and Morgan's like, "Hey, look, hospital!" And then they get to the hospital. And they all get to take a break because there was a horde of zombies coming up behind them. And now Wendell has another wheelchair thanks to Morgan's idea.
Right, which is totally the whole reason that we had to go to the hospital.
Right, like, what else are you going to do? They would have never been able to rest or sleep if they'd have been on that road. That horde was not going to, stop. And so they had to go somewhere. So they went to the best place. They went to a hospital. And then everyone seems to be relying on Morgan for like, what do we do next? And it's like, I don't know, like barricade the doors and go up a floor and, find a generator. Like, just like do something constructive on your own. Like, stop looking to Morgan to be your savior. You've all survived this far into the apocalypse. Like, suddenly you have a leader and you turn infantile. And Jimbo, like, he was the worst. And I get it. He's been locked up in a brewery for all this time and he doesn't know how to kill walkers but like Morgan has two. Sinbad pointed this out on Talking Dead. Morgan has two of them on him, and Jimbo's like, "Help!" He's
right.
And Morgan's like, "I'll be there in a minute." It's like, oh my god.
But we see how great it turned out for Jimbo,
right? I kind of think he got what he deserved.
Ooh, brutal.
I do. I feel really bad because I think he would have been a great character, but I think he is going to become a great character by making the ultimate sacrifice and choosing to be the Otis. I'm dead anyway. Everyone needs a way out. I'm going to lead them away, and you guys are going to get out, right?
It sounds as good as any answer. It sounds better than some.
I kind of think that he's just going to kind of come into I'm screwed anyway, and he had a moment. He and Morgan were having a moment, but of course they were having it in front of like a window full of walkers with flimsy barricades, poorly constructed barricades. And, like, how about not eating the sandwich in front of the dog, right? Like,
I love it.
I could stand over my dog's beds and eat my dinner, but I don't do that. Like, who does that? Why are you... They constantly have conversations in front of, like double doors full of walkers who are pushing on it and, like, just about to break through glass. Like, stop doing that. How about, like, go around the corner and have that conversation? But they were having a moment, and Jimbo was kind of like, you rescued me, and it was great, and I can't thank you for what you've done. And then he, like, totally had to drag Morgan again and be like, this is all your fault.
Well, because the barricades collapsed.
Poorly constructed barricades.
Yeah.
For one, if you're going to push something up against something, if the thing you're pushing up against has wheels on it, how about you flip it over so the wheels don't roll?
Although even with it rolling, it's still slowing the zombies down.
It is. The first wave is going to trip over it. Mm-hmm. But, if you're dealing with an epic infestation, you've got a second, third. For those of you who don't play the game, that's a Walking Dead Our World reference.
It is. And I'm trying to get Abraham through some infestations right now. So
I got to take 150 survivors to safe houses.
That's why you have to join a group. Because you have to get help from your group.
Nobody needs help. I don't need help. You don't give help.
Right. What was it Sinbad was saying? You should figure out that the word help is not a word that you want to use.
Stop saying it. Right? That's awesome.
Well, my bad was that it was just the complaint that it was middle booky.
Yeah.
I don't really have a complaint other than that. It just seemed like it was kind of, and then we had to do this, and then we did this, and we have to do this so that we can move the story forward.
Yeah, I think they could have addressed everything they needed to address in this episode in like 10 minutes of another episode.
I think it could have been part of another episode easily. I agree.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer because when I went back and rewatched it, there were some really good moments in this episode.
There were about 10 minutes of them.
Right.
Like Tanya Pinkin's storyline, Jimbo getting bit, and Charlie and Alicia finding Strand and John Dory.
And I gotta say, I liked the backstory for Sarah being not quite fully fulfilling her service to the Marines. I kind of like that.
Okay, but Wendell signing up, did he really think the Marines were going to take somebody in a wheelchair? Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing.
I think that he was young and idealistic and didn't know how it was going to come down.
Like, I know that we're fighting wars more with drones and stuff like that, but even if you're like someone who's super smart and like inventing stuff for the military, you're a contractor, not an actual military member.
Pretty soon it's going to be just like Ender's Game. It's going to be just kids with video games.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I think he was young and idealistic, and I think that he didn't know how it was going to go down. And Sarah was probably already joined up,
Yeah.
and that's probably why she bailed, because she got angry about the way that he was treated.
Yep. So I still get the feeling that Al has military service in her background too.
I think she was an embedded reporter with a military unit. I don't think
Okay.
she was actually military. I think she was an embedded reporter, and that would explain why she
Yeah.
kind of has the sense of, oh, were you military?
Yeah, and she's got some combat knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was embedded someplace where, she kind of maybe on the side somebody taught her how to drive an MRAT or something.
Yeah. I mean, I totally think that's what her experience is.
Yeah, that's a really good explanation. I like that. We'll go with that.
Thank you. So what was your ugly, since you stole mine? Although I have another one.
So, fuel diesel is not that explosive. And it drives me nuts every time it happens. It drives a lot of people nuts every time. So it is flammable, yes, but it would not go kaboom like the truck did. For one, it started in like the engine compartment, so maybe that was other chemicals in the engine compartment. But the whole explosion out the back, there would have been a kind of a backdrafty look of like, going whoosh, but it wouldn't be that huge explosion like it was.
So was it just fuel diesel, or did they also have some gas in there? And let's not even get into the gas working, because I was a little bit disappointed that the generators actually fired up.
Right? And
Right.
that the elevator was right there.
Right.
Because they usually return to ground floor.
I was like, best timed elevator ever.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, there was just a whole bunch of little things like that with this episode where, yeah. Oh my goodness, do you hear my dog?
I do. It's so rare to hear it on your end.
Well, she did tree a bear at 2 a.m. the other day.
Good girl.
Yeah, well, not really at 2 a.m. Bear
Could
broke
be
my
worse.
fence,
You could have
so.
killed your chickens at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Good thing I don't have chickens.
Yeah.
Because we have bears, and now none of our neighbors have chickens either.
That's brutal.
Oh.
The 2 chickens that we have left, they're on strike. They're like, we're not laying eggs now. You let us get brutalized. To hell with you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're too like you are like, you can provide me sustenance other ways than eggs.
I miss the eggs.
We made 40 clove chicken tonight, so
No, I'm not going to kill my 2 chickens. I feel sorry for them.
oh.
All right. So your ugly was lots of little stuff like that.
Yeah, lots of little stuff like that.
Okay, so I have a good ugly other than Charlie and Alicia finding Dory and Strand. Did you notice all of the shout outs? I don't want to say callbacks because it's a different series, but all of the shout outs to Walking Dead Prime.
Yes.
So
I was actually wondering if that was the hospital that Beth died in.
No, but they did say that it was an old hospital in Texas, a hospital that was abandoned and is slated for demolition.
Right. Right.
But,
and all the props were legit medical
right.
equipment.
And they took them and aged them so they looked like they had been more abandoned.
Right.
So here's my list. So they were on the rooftop, just like Rick and the characters from season 1, episode 2 were stuck on the rooftop.
At the mall, yeah.
Yeah. The hospital shouts back not just to Rick and the pilot, but also, you mentioned it, to Slabtown, to Beth being in the hospital.
So, like, I did yell out at the TV, and no one in particular, "Don't dead, open inside."
Yes, the zombie hands coming through the chain door, and Lou Diamond Phillips did mention that.
Uh-huh.
Also, I'm pretty sure that when Beth got shot, that she actually stabbed Officer Dawn with a set of hemostats, just like Jimbo stabbed that walker with a set of hemostats.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And Jim from season 1, also got bit and died.
Jim.
Remember Jim?
No.
So he was the guy who went kind of crazy and started digging all the graves.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a Jim in the first season of Walking Dead Prime who got bit and died because he got bit.
Was he the one that, like, he's just like, leave me by the side of the road?
Yes.
Yeah. They were on their way to CDC. And
yes.
Leave me by the side of the road. Yep.
And he refused. He refused a gun to put himself down.
Yeah. Wow.
So there were a lot of shout outs to the original series.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which I thought were super, super cool.
Yeah, when the doors to the hospital, when they were pushing through, that did also remind me of the mall. When
right.
They were, when Andrea was looking at the necklace for her sister, and they were pushing through the doors there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was an episode replete with images from previous episodes of
Which is why
the original series.
It was a meh episode, but it wasn't.
But there were some great moments.
Yeah, there were some great moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
So anything in Rotting Potpourri?
Really the only thing I have that you could actually even call it another ugly, a good ugly, was the walker that Martha killed. It was so funny to see a fresh walker. Like, he wasn't dragging a limb. She originally thought it was a person. And she was like, hey,
right. Like right after her husband died.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's so funny to think, like, way back in the beginning, how the walkers looked when they weren't all weathered and aged and gnarled and, limbless and rotting, basically. It was so funny to see a walker that, like, didn't seem like a walker now.
Well, so that actually plays into your suggestion that perhaps that was at the very beginning of the zombie apocalypse.
Yes. Yep. It
well,
was
so
all brand new.
One of the things that I thought during Rotting Potpourri is that your question about how Wendell gets in and out of the truck was finally answered.
It was. He
had that pulley system.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh my God, what boss upper body strength to actually be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I know that the actor was paralyzed later in life, but his character was paralyzed from the age 10, if we believe his story, which I don't know that I do.
Oh, I can't see any reason not to.
At first, I don't know. Maybe it was just the moment, but I kind of felt like he was telling Alice's story. But then when Sarah chimed in, it seemed a little bit more believable. But for the moment, I was like, there might be something there. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he and Sarah are pretty genuine. I think what you see is what you get.
His character was paralyzed at the age of 10, so of course he has amazing upper body strength.
I bet you Chill takes care of his body as best he can. I bet you he takes care of his upper body and has that kind of body strength.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, it's been years for him. I think it was like 2010.
I think it might have been a little bit earlier than that, but it was right around that time.
Yeah. But bringing that up, I'm so disappointed that his Uber chair is
ruined.
Crushed. Yeah, his sword chair, basically.
Well, maybe he'll have time to modify this chair.
Not in the hospital. It looks like we're leaving next week. And there's nothing on the roof that they can do.
I don't know, man. They've got those killer IV poles.
How are they going to get him down?
Well, if the generators are still working, if they can figure out a way to escape, they can get down through the elevators.
And why did they go up? If they had the use of the elevators, why didn't they go down? Because all of the zombies kind of followed them up.
But then when you look out from the rooftop, there are zombies on the grounds as well as in the hospital itself.
That's true. I mean, you are making the decisions on the fly.
Right.
And they're just super lucky that nobody else had the idea to go up to the rooftop for safety and died there.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's kind of always a place we seem to find ourselves in apocalyptic situations is on rooftops. It's either for a water gathering or signaling planes or for radio signals or something like that. We always find ourselves on rooftops. So they're super lucky that rooftop was empty.
Well, they are big, bad stuck, and they're going to have to figure it out.
Yep.
What else? Oh, the credits. So I wrote down, it looks like broken down semis in a cityscape. And then I was like, yes, I got it right.
Yes. And I can't remember. I don't think we did last week's. Last week was the flooded plane with the crocodile.
Oh, is that what it was? No, we didn't do last week's.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
I had wrote it down, but completely spaced it. So I'm glad you brought this one up this week.
Okay, I also just thought it was funny that Martha was serially killing helpful truckers.
That was funny. Oh, the first couple of times she did it, it seemed like she had this kind of like smile on her face, this little smile. Now when she does it, she kind of has this maniacal look on her face. It was just really funny that the difference in from her then to her now.
But she seemed very calm and very pleased with the whole thing.
Yeah. Crazy. Literally. I couldn't read all of their faces. She had all of the sayings on the faces. One of them just went by too quickly, so I kind of lost interest in writing down what they had on their face.
So on Quinn's face, it said something like the people you know, which I'm not sure where the phrases are coming from.
I thought the new phrases were coming from the radio chatter, something about the people you know.
Okay, it could be.
But the original, the first one that she wrote on, the chick that she killed said something like, "You don't help," or something like that.
Which is what she said to her.
Right. And then the second guy, his face went by too quickly, and I can't remember what the third guy's face said, but yeah, she's writing something different on everyone's faces. I think it's funny how she's like one and done. She just uses the walker to get her next walker, and she doesn't have like a little team of them, or she doesn't just use one over and over again to kill people. She like one and done.
Fresh walker, man.
Bam, bam, bam.
Oh, so Al is trapped.
Al is trapped.
I think Al's going to be fine, though. I think that Naomi or June or whatever her name is right. I think Al is smart, and I think she's going to be fine.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too. She's gotten herself out of tougher situations than this, I think. She'll find a window or a crawl space or something that she'll get out of. But it is weird that they weren't able to raise her on the radio.
I thought they were.
No.
I thought that they were able. I thought that Morgan just had a very brief snippet of conversation with her because she said something like, we couldn't both go through at the same time.
No, Sarah said that.
I may have to go back and watch that little moment in time again.
When Sarah got back to the elevator bays, it was kind of like, where's Al or something, or like what's up with the lights or something. And it's like, Al sent me on and she's, gonna be right behind us or fight her way out. But when they got to the rooftop, Morgan tried to radio Al and she didn't respond.
I think he raised her, though, when they were standing at the elevator waiting for the lights to go on.
Yeah, but when they got to the roof, they weren't able to reach her anymore. And I don't know if that's because maybe the radio couldn't reach her from there, or something's wrong and she couldn't respond, or maybe like
maybe she's on the move.
Yeah, she's on the move and couldn't respond, or like she dropped the radio while she was on the move, or yeah. So I definitely think we will see Al again. I think she'll get out of this, but
there'll be a little suspense.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to leave without her.
Do you think we'll see Al? We have 2 episodes left. Do you think we'll see Al before the end of the season?
Oh, yeah, because it looks like we are leaving the hospital next episode.
Okay.
And I don't think that they will leave without her. I think that either Morgan would be like, everyone go on ahead, I'll go back for Al, or Sarah says, someone, they would split up or something, but they're not leaving without Al. Somebody's going to go back for her, or the group is going to go back for her. Yeah. Yep, I don't think that's happening.
Well, I don't think I have anything else.
No, I think that's all I have too.
We had quite a bit.
We did.
We had one of those really, really, really short, long episodes.
Yeah. Nothing happened, so let's talk about it forever.
Right. Let's talk about nothing.
Forever.
Well, until the next time we podcast, just take it
One
dead
day
at a time.
At a time.
We did better last week.
We did. But I'm drinking this week, so.
You're drinking this week. I'm not drinking. I had a little bit of coffee with milk in it.
Nope, I got my wine.
Yeah, I had a perfect bedtime cocktail.
I would have had beer, but I lost my dinner plate-sized urinal paper.
And on that note, everybody, have a good week.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.